Hey, what's happening everybody? Hope you guys are feeling great. I'm Team Kills, and what I like to do is make gaming easier. So, what is the biggest Warframe weapon comeback? And what I mean is, what is the absolute crap garbage fire mastery fodder weapon that DE turned into a monster? Whether it's one of those shiny Prisma weapons, a Vandal copy, a Prime clone, a Tenet, or a Kuva-fied weapon, even one of the many Incarnate on weapons. Like, think about the Arca Tenet Plasmor. It's ridiculously dangerous. But the original version is, well, sensibly dangerous, or at least very dangerous. So basically, this weapon was always good, which means it doesn't count. I'm talking about weapons like the Kuva Seer. The original Seer is so shit. So first tier. It's so old and so forgettable. I bet $100 that the Kuva version is going to be shit as well. I lost $100. It's not shit. It's not a shit weapon. It's also not one of my favorite weapons, maybe because I lost the bet, but I reluctantly keep it in my inventory because it's a good weapon and I ultimately want the best weapons. I've also heard someone say the Tenet Plinks is a major upgrade. Well, I think they just don't remember how much they hated the original Plinks. It's not that much of a major upgrade. Neither of them are fan favorites, but both of them, they kind of were always good. I'm talking about the dog shit weapons, like the really shit weapons. The ones you could barely remember, or they scarred you somehow and you could never forget them. The weapons you fired 4 times and said, oh god, shit, no. Then took it right to the Simulacron, mastered it, sold it back to the system with killing maybe less than 5 people. That weapon. And, by the way, that weapon is not the Kuva Kraken. Yes, the original Kraken does fit the definition of crap, but the Kuva Kraken is still crap. You can't change my mind about that one either. So the Krakens or the Krapens, they don't count. 2 piles of shit. The primes are something that I think that we should take a look at. There are a few primes that are significantly better than the original versions, like the Panthora. It's a big difference if you ask me. But most primes aren't really must-haves compared to the originals. Wait, hold on. I know the primes are must-haves. What I mean is, let's take the Tigris Prime, for example. That thing's special. But you won't have any problem erasing enemies with the normal Tigris, or the Sancti Tigris, the normal Gram, Vectis, the Rubico, any of the Cyrano. You know, I heard someone say they hate the way I say the Cyranos, so Cyranos, Cyranos. Sorry, I don't know how it's said. But all I'm saying is, you could take the Galentine original, walk all the way up to Mastery Rank 15, trade in for the Prime, and yes, it is shinier, and you do get bigger numbers, but the difference isn't as big as the differences that I've been seeing in the Incarnate Genesis system. This will turn a great weapon into a fantastic one, even though it will do the opposite for some weapons, like the Zylok. This already is one of those weapons that's got those force 2 shots and 1 bullet kicks like a freaking horse, so only one of those bullets goes where the hell you were actually aiming, and the Incarnate version adds a charge mechanic to it, which in my opinion just makes this weapon more of a pain in the ass to use. But that's just how I feel about it. Now there are a bunch of Incarnate Tier 1 weapons that come to mind. A lot of them received a significant boost, like the Kunai. It's a nice boost, not much complaints, but one. The Kunai and the Paris Prime, the normal Paris, any of the Paris, they're stealth weapons. The Incarnate upgrades make them noisy. If you're trying to go stealth, then that's a problem. Not a big one, but still counterproductive to what you're doing. The Lato is much better in the Incarnate version. Still, not good enough. Even if you have the Vandal version, you lucky bastard, I can't seem to get my hands on it, but even if you have the Vandal version, it's better, not good enough. The Ceramic, sorry, but it's just not. The Ceramic Dagger, though, this is possibly one of the most versatile Incarnate weapons we've got. I've said this before. Nobody has ever said, get the ceramic dagger, until me. I've actually said this twice, maybe 3 times. This weapon, it can do a lot of things. Its versatility is a video by itself, which I've actually already made, and it would be long if I got into all of this right now, so just take my word for it. Check that video out, but take my word for it, this thing's awesome. But its damage kinda caps under steel path. Now, you could take it to steel path if you're stubborn. You could take any weapon to steel path, but the theme of your steel path would have to be death by 1,000 cuts and a lot of crowd control. So it's awesome, but it has its limits. Now, in my opinion, and as always, this is only my opinion, which matters to me. I hope you guys care, but you don't have to. And of course, I want to hear your guys' opinions on what is the biggest weapon upgrade or weapon turnaround in Warframe. Now, to me, the biggest weapon turnaround is the miter. Yep, it's the miter. I hated this weapon. It was introduced way back when as a tier 2 weapon, just barely. I'm not sure I ever agreed with that, even though the official readout says the miter launches high-velocity saw blades, tearing apart anyone unfortunate enough to be in its path. Sounds awesome. It's not. The sight of saw blades bouncing around the room usually gives me tingles, but with the miter, I felt nothing. Well, heat-seeking, explosive, bouncing energy saw blades, that makes me feel happy and proud, a little remorseful sometimes, but mostly tingly. So, blah blah blah, stats. This gun, it's awesome now, because whenever you can pull off a stat build and a crit build at the same time, this weapon should never have been in the vault. A matter of fact, this probably should have been a Weapons of the Vault video. Like, take this thing out the vault, it's no longer mastery fodder. Now, I don't necessarily want to shove my build or my choices down your guys' throat, because you could pick a different perk path than what I did and still feel tingly. And, of course, I could be 100% wrong about the whole entire thing. I could have the wrong weapon. What I hope is you guys will leave your opinions in the comments of which weapon you think is the best Warframe turnarounds. Then what I can do is I can pull my weapon, my choice, and all your guys' choices, and we could put them together and do a real comparison, like actual math. It'll be horrible, but it'll be better to get it done, because there is way too many weapons for me to do this all by myself. Now, on that note, I really hope this helped. There's no way it could have helped, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you join the team of killers. Become a killer team. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. It's one of the ways we could talk. Make sure you keep it easy in life. And remember, just keep gaming.